Hi there, Michelle here from Digital Marketing for Beginners. Today I'm going to be walking you through one of the best keyword tools on the planet. It's called Jaaxy, and it is something that if you've got stuck with Google AdWords in the past and thought, this is far too complicated, I can't possibly get to grips with keywords here, then you will love Jaaxy. So we are using the example of Bouncy Castle for the purposes of this this tutorial, this blog post. So I'm just going to click on here first of all, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to then walk you through the bits and pieces that you can see at the top of Jaaxy there. Now, first of all, Jaaxy is a fully comprehensive keyword tool. It will tell you about site rank. It will tell you about certain affiliate programs that you might be able to find under the keywords. So if you're an affiliate marketer, you can find specific programs that will be interest to you depending on what keywords that you put in. You have alphabet soup here, which I will quickly show you. This is an excellent idea. You can also use this on Google as well, but you can type in something like Bouncy Castle and it will come up with specific keywords in an alphabet style. So you know how you would do this on Google. You would go onto Google search bar, you'd type in Bouncy Castle, and it'll come up with something that is going to be relevant to what people are typing into Google. Here you've got different ideas. So you've got a higher Bouncy Castle, adult Bouncy Castles, adult Bouncy Castle higher in Staffordshire, and so on and so on and so on. But we're going to go back to keywords here, and we're going to continue with our simple look at finding keywords. So at the top toolbar here in Jaaxy, you can see you've got all sorts of different types of stuff that you can use here. You can save lists of different keywords here. It will go through the history of stuff that you've looked at. These are things that I've looked at through the keywords tools recently on my Jaaxy account here. It'll go through brainstorming. Down here it'll say, well, you've come up with these really good keywords, but Jaaxy will say, well, how about this keyword? How do you think about this? Do you want to look up this one instead? And you can start up different lists and different searches under these specific keywords here. All you've got to do is just click on them. There is so much about Jaaxy, really, that we could be sitting here for the next couple of hours, but because we want to keep this video nice and quick, we're going to talk about what we've been talking about in the blog post. So we've typed in Bouncy Castle, and as you can see, we've got an average here, we've got traffic, we've got a QSR, KQI, SEO, and domains. Now, what does this mean? Well, it means that if we type in the word Bouncy Castle, type in the words Bouncy Castle, we can see there's an average of 8,475 searches per month on just these two words. Now, you would think for Bouncy Castle, would really 8,500 people be checking up the words Bouncy Castle in Google every month? Well, yes, they probably are. Now, Jaaxy is a hugely accurate keyword device. The average there, so you can look at that and say, well, that's 8,500. The average, specifically, it could be up to 9,500, perhaps even 10,000 people searching for the word Bouncy Castle every month. So you can get an idea now of how important it is to look at keywords. Typing in the words Bouncy Castle, you'd probably think, well, why is 8,500 people looking up the words Bouncy Castle? But they actually are. Now, the traffic here means, so that's 1,441 people. If you are on Google's first page, this is the traffic number you can expect to see to your website specifically every month through those average numbers. But that is if you are on Google's first landing page. Now, you'll notice at the top here you can also see these groovy little grey out question marks, which will tell you, if you ever forget, because I usually do, what specific channels, what specific columns are here. So you can look up, so you can refresh yourself on exactly what these numbers mean. Now, the QSR, what that actually, it's quoted search results, so that's what that means. means exactly how many pages on Google have got these keywords bouncy castle in either their title or in the first paragraph of their post. Now this is again accurate. You can be rest assured that this is a very specific figure, and Jaaxy is a live system, so this could be updated. This might even go up to 99 tomorrow, but actually from this moment in time there is exactly 97 pages on the entire web that are using these words bouncy castle here, as I say, in their title or in the first paragraph of their post. Now if you think how big the internet is, 97 pages actually is not much at all. It's 0.0000001%, something crazy like that. 97 pages is nothing. The QI here, the KQI here, is Jaaxy's own personal rating of how they think that the words bouncy castle are going to do. So if you're in any two minds about whether to use a specific keyword or not, you can go onto the KQI and Jaaxy will say, yeah, this is a really good keyword or keyword phrase to use. So Jaaxy's saying it's a great word to use. There's only 97 pages on the entire net using these two words. You're going to get great traffic if you're able to get on the first page of Google. The SEO means, now this is a ranking that Jaaxy will also use to basically confirm what they've already said, particularly about the KQI. So the SEO is saying to you, right, okay, out of a score of 0 to 100, 100 being the best possible score that you can get, Jaaxy is saying we are scoring these keywords as being 81. So it is the score between 0 and 100. So when you're looking up, say, you're looking at these keywords, bouncy castle sale, the average is going to be a lot less. The traffic is going to be a lot less. The QSR is going to be a lot less, which means there are less pages on the internet that are using bouncy castle sale as a keyword phrase, but the SEO is 92. That's closer to 100, which means you have got a better chance of being on Google's #1 ranking page for these keywords than you have if you just use bouncy castle there. So you can see that Jaaxy is a fantastic keyword tool. It's easy to use, but it also gets you to think about how you want to use your keywords, about specific keywords to use. Now we're going to scroll down a bit more and we're going to make this a little bit more interesting. So one thing to absolutely remember, first off, is your keywords have got to make sense. Now the reason why I've just quickly said that is because what you'll find is keywords here are going to be spelt wrong. So this is how people are spelling words into the castle. So there's 64 people each month who are looking for bouncy spelt with an E castle. Google will penalize you if you use keywords that don't make sense or are not spelt correctly. So if you look and say, hey, I can get 64 people, that's 11 traffic, yes, but, and we'll check these results now, let's see what that QSR says. 360, that's pretty poor. That means there's a lot of people on the internet who have used bouncy with an E as their keyword. Well, fair enough. That is okay. We're going to ignore that. But as you go down, you will see that the averages. I'm just going to scroll up again so we can still see. The averages are completely different all the way down, and they are determined specifically by. They are specifically determined by the words that people are typing in. Now, the last quick thing I'm going to talk to you today is about domains. Now, this is the last column here. This means the availability of domains that are related to that specific keyword. So, if you are looking at starting a business about bouncy castles for rent, for example, so we've got this keyword here, bouncy castles for rent. You could do bouncycastlesforrent.com. This, clicking here, will quickly tell you what domains are available to you using these specific keywords. So if you are targeting an audience who want to rent bouncy castles, and that is all your squeeze page, your landing page, or your website is going to be about, you might want to say, I tell you what, we're going to use bouncycastlesrent.com as our domain name. And when people type in that keyword, the more content, the more high value rich content that you're putting on your site, the better you're likely going to be on your Google rank. You're going to be more likely to be on their first page because you're using a domain with these letters, with these words in. Again, another quick thing to say is make sure if you're going to use a domain name that it makes sense. I personally wouldn't do Bouncy Castles Rent because it doesn't quite make sense. I'm more likely to say let's do a website that's called Inflatable Bouncy Castle, because it's more likely to be it's going to be a spoken term. People don't say Bouncy Castles Rent in their normal speech. Inflatable Bouncy Castle is something that's going to be a little bit more appealing to Google for a start, because it makes sense, and it's more likely to be put in as a keyword. As you can see, the average for Inflatable Bouncy Castle is higher than Bouncy Castles Rent, and the traffic is a little bit higher. The QSR of course is going to be higher. That means now for this term we have now got 164 pages of competition instead of 75, but Jaaxy still says it's a great keyword to use, even though Bouncy Castles Rent SEO is still a lot higher than Inflatable Bouncy Castle. However, we can also see that .com for Inflatable Bouncy Castle is gone, but we've still got .net and .org. So if you're still interested in using that kind of keyword tool there, you are still it's still a pretty good bet to use it as a domain if that's going to be your specific niche. I am going to wrap this video up right now because I wanted to make this fairly quick and fairly digestible. That's how you can use Jaaxy. Of course, there's lots of other different things to use on it, but I wanted to go completely straight in there and give you a good idea about what you can specifically use it for right now. If you're really keen to use Jaaxy, click on the link below this video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this blog post. If you've got any comments or any questions, I'll be more than happy to respond to you. Leave them in the box below, and I will talk to you again very soon. Thanks very much for watching.